only what I'm doing at that moment, not the lizard brain. If you get rid of I call it the monkey brain, but I think it's the lizard brain. If you can get rid of that and just focus on what you're doing and enjoy, ride with what you're doing. There's a lot of parallels to sports. I read a lot of sports physiology books and psychology.
Do you do meditation? Do you do meditation?
If I wasn't so ADD, I probably would, but I never, sort of never get to that. My son's a therapist, and he meditates for hours on end, I think. And I appreciate it. I think it's a great thing to do. I do notice some of the great players that I've worked with, one of them who's over in London right now, they would actually, who was the guy? We had someone come in and play for Andrew Bain. And there's a moment before the concert starts where they're sitting there quietly, not engaging with anyone. And that's, I think that's actually really important to focus on what you're going to be doing. Not, you got to just eliminate the noise. That's helped me mentally. Physically, I would say, physically, I would say the secret to longevity, if that, like I said, I'm the Frank Reich quarterback type. I'm not I can't think. Who's a good quarterback?
The guy that broke his leg.
Yeah, Joe Theismann.
Joe Theismann.
That's a long time.
I don't know. That dates me.
Try to do everything, try to do it correctly. Try to use the stuff that your teacher taught you or that you've learned. Try to play with the correct principles. I mean, air is paramount. This is all extraneous. I mean, it has to work properly, but
You have the same routine? You use the same routine every day?
same warm-up routine?
Yeah.
More or less. I modify it a little bit. I still use a little bit of Farkas and a little bit of Fergus McWilliam had a few things, and I toss in a little bit of Milan-Jacic. I mean, nothing's that way. I don't think anything's new under the sun. Just use the routine that works for you and have a reason for doing it. I don't beat myself up too much in the routine, but I try to tell my students, it is, try to warm up before you play. I mean, don't just pick the horn up out of the case and expect it's going to work. You do need to do a routine. As I've gotten older, I don't do the heavy stuff that I did when I was younger. I mean, I will tell you, when I was a student at Eastman, studied with Vern, we would all spend 5 hours a night in the practice room. And because there's no way to get through all the stuff, when he says, do Maxime Alphonse book 4, number 3 in every key for next week. He meant every key. And the James Chambers students would say, well, they wouldn't go on to a new Koprush etude till they played all the transpositions that were printed in the book. They were very dogmatic about it. And I know teachers that still do that with their kids. So, you build the foundations and try to play with the correct principles. I've never, every time I try to be a hero, or a hero as far as going over past my edge, that's when you can hurt yourself, when you're not using your brain. One of the smartest, best players I've ever worked with or studied with is Ted Thayer. Did he show up?
He's coming.
I mean, he was pretty perfect, and I played in his section a little bit as a sub and learned from him, and he had a reason for everything he did. And, I think some of that, the foundation, study with good people. I'd spend some time with Julie Landsman and Ted Thayer and do the right principles.